everyone, welcome to Gardening TLC and welcome to my garden. Today we are taking the garden back. I have been so busy that my garden has kind of run away from me a little bit. The gardens that we've worked on actually look really good, but the gardens that we haven't even been in, oh, they are a disaster. Take a look at some of these pictures. So today, we're taking it all back. No more weeds, no more weeds. Come on, let's go. First things first, time to fertilize. Every week I should be fertilizing my annuals that are in pots and in the ground with a water-soluble fertilizer. I have been so bad. I haven't done it once. Some of these pots have been in the ground and some of the plants, I want to say like 6 weeks. So we're going to give them their first feeding today and then we're going to get on track. All right, that's number one. Let's get that done. Definitely not a passive hobby. It is something that you have to be actively involved in or your gardens can get away from you and it doesn't take long. I pay attention to my gardens and even I struggle if I'm not in my gardens doing my routines of what needs to be done, like over here doing this bed on Monday and going down this bed on Tuesday and walking the gardens and fertilizing and being in the garden. It doesn't take but a minute. And you turn your back, it's kind of like that toddler, and the next thing you know, whoo, the weeds are everywhere and they're into everything. So we are gonna spend some time putting some things back together today, but I'm also gonna take you through and show you what I got done in the Passageway garden. So I didn't wait for you guys. I kind of planted a lot of it up myself. I just needed to get it done because sometimes I just need to power through it, get it done. I don't have time to move camera. Plus, you have seen me dig a million holes and put things in the ground. And I will take you through and show you where I put everything. But what we did first was we went around with some water-soluble fertilizer and I used the Proven Winners this time. Sometimes I just kind of grab whatever's on hand. I have Miracle Grow over here too. But this is my 2-gallon watering can and I mixed 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. I kind of swooshed it up when I was filling it and then went around and fed all of my pots. I also have annuals in the ground, and for me it's easier when they're in the ground to use the garden feeder. And basically what I do is I just take the top off of this and I take a half a packet of one of these, and it tells you on the container here what kind of coverage are you gonna do, 200 square feet, 300, 400, and it tells you how much product to put in here. I am actually going to be doing probably 300 square feet by the time I do all the ones that are in the ground. And it tells me that I need 3/4 of a pound of this product in here. And depending on what size bag you buy, you know, every one of these is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to put the allotted amount in. And what you do is you just pour it right into the container. And it takes about half of one of these. And then I'm going to put the lid back on it. I always add a little bit of water first to get it going, so it kind of dissolves a little bit before I add the hose. And then what I'm going to do is just twist this back on, just like that. I'm going to grab my garden hose, take this off, and then I'm going to attach it right here, just like this. So I just take this, I have to set it down to do it. All right, turn my water back on, and then I have a little switch at the top right here. There's a trigger, see? Turn the switch on, and then I can just go and water the annuals in place. Everything is now fed and fertilized, and I watered everything that I planted in the ground over on the Passageway garden. Now you'll notice that I have a sprinkler going in the cottage garden, and the reason I'm doing that is because there's a lot of weeds in there, and weeds are easier to pull when they've had a saturation of water, whether from your sprinkler or the rain. So I'm not trying to like water the weeds. Well, actually I am. I'm trying to make it easier for me to pull the weeds. So not only am I watering what needs to be watered over here, because it has been kind of dry, I am watering the weeds so that it'll loosen the roots up so that I can go through and weed really super fast. So that's what's going on over here. Now the next thing I have to do is I want to get this mulched, because it dries out so fast when I don't mulch and I just have bare soil. I feel like I have to run out here every day and water. Whereas if I put the mulch down, the mulch, I see you, chipmunk. I see you. Oh my God, they're everywhere this year. Oh, okay, between them and the rabbits, I've just made tons of places for them to hide. All right, but the purpose for the mulch is not only for beautification, but it also helps stabilize soil temperature. It helps hold in moisture, and then over time it will break down and create microorganisms and whatnot in the soil. I see you. Stop. Aha, there he is. There he goes. There he goes. Oh, he's going into the she shed. Oh, I hope he's not living in there. Haven't been in there yet. All right, we'll get to that though, hopefully here soon. All right, I'm gonna get the mulch down. I'm gonna put a pre-emergent down that'll stop new weed seed from germinating using this product right here. It does not stop weeds that are already up, and it doesn't stop the helicopters. So I am pulling, oh my gosh, little maple trees everywhere. That's what you saw me bending over pulling when I was watering everything. If I get them when they're little, it's not such a chore. Now, the one thing that I have to do is get back on my schedule. Having this many garden beds and having a full-time job, it can be overwhelming trying to keep up in the garden. So one of the things that I have to do is get back on schedule. And what I did was I zoned my gardens so that every day, even if I only spent 15 minutes in that garden just grabbing some little weeds once a week, or fertilizing something, or cutting something back, or whatever chore needed to be done, I kind of zoned it down so that this front garden bed was Monday and the cottage garden was Tuesday. And I'm gonna make this passageway bed Wednesday, the back garden was Thursday, and the sidewalk bed, driveway bed was Friday, and then 2 days off. Now, if I end up making more beds, well, then I'm gonna have to add Saturday and Sunday into the routine. So keep that in mind. The more gardens you get, you wanna make sure that you can keep up on maintaining them. Obviously, I have done a horrible job this year keeping up in my garden beds. But you know what? Life happens, and it happens to all of us. So we'll get caught up, and then we'll just move forward from there. One of the things that I grew from seed this year was a silver sage, or a Salvia argentea. I saw this in Erin's garden up north of Milwaukee last year when I did a tour. And this is pretty easy to grow. It's supposed to be a biannual. I don't know if it will be an annual or a biannual. We'll find out. But I grew these from seed. I ordered them in and I started them in the little seed trays, and then I potted them up to bigger pots. This is just a little 3-inch thin-walled pot. And then I grew it up a little bit bigger, and now I'm ready to put them in the ground. This thing is so tactile. I mean, you want to reach down and just touch this and pet it because it's soft and it's furry and it's got this big, bold, beautiful silver leaf. You are not growing this for flowers. You're growing this because you just want this texture in your garden. This is what they look like when I was up at Erin's house, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? I have to have it. So I ordered the seeds and I grew it. So I'm going to be planting these throughout my garden. I did get one in the garden area over here, and I'm going to plant some more. And I'm also going to run it up the sidewalk area in the front garden, and I want to put a few of them in the back garden as well. So I'm going to put these around in different places, and it makes you just want to stop and touch it. Now, when I looked up the Wisconsin extension office, and I kind of looked this up, they say it really doesn't have a lot of pest problems or a lot of diseases. Erin said that I might want to like plant some and then wait and plant some. You can do it from seed, but I really wanted to get a jump start. I mean, like seed in the ground, but I really wanted to get a jump start on it, so I did it in the pots. So I'm not going to plant everything I have. I did, I think, 3 flats of 10, so I have 30 plants. So I'm gonna plant some today, and then I'm gonna wait like 3 weeks and let them keep growing up in the little containers. They won't grow as fast as they will in the ground. And then I'm gonna plant some more. And then maybe if any of them poop out, I'll have a succession of them. I'm not sure. I've never really grown them, but I fell in love with them and I'm like, oh, I gotta have that in the garden. So you'll see me adding these to the garden as well. As you can see, I did plant a lot of this up. I'd say I'm about 90% of it's done. I still have some other things I want to put in the ground, like, you know, this silver sage. But you can see we've planted things on both sides of the boulders, and I still have some areas on the other side of the wall that need to be planted up. Thus, I'm at like 90%. I want to try and get this mulch today. I don't know if there's rain coming or not. They said there is, but sometimes it all falls apart. Last week it didn't fall apart, obviously, because I got caught in it. But we're going to try and move through this and get it done. I am going to be putting rock and flagstone over here. I don't know if I'll get that done today. I do want to work on some weeding over in the cottage garden. I definitely want to get started on that. And I really want to get some more of my pots done. I probably have 6 more pots to get done. And it's not too late. I mean, I planted pots in July last year and they still looked good by the end of the season. So I'm not really worried about that. We'll get it done. But I really want this one buttoned up so that I can move on to some other projects. All right, let's show you where I put everything. I'm gonna take some of these and kind of just set them where they're gonna go in their pots, but then you'll get the idea. And then as this matures and we do some garden tours, which I know I've only done 1 garden tour, then I'll show you like how everything is growing up and how it's filling in. All right, so let me show you where it's at right now after I planted it. All right, we're gonna start right here as we go around the corner, and I am gonna put a silver sage right here. These do get fairly large, and so it will take up some space right there. We added thyme in here, and this is a lemon thyme. It will come back every year. It is a perennial for me, and so it's gonna be this nice matted ground cover, along with the water perry blue veronica, which is also a ground cover. Now, I did put another silver sage back behind that, and as if we look down the bed, you can see that we've got different things on both sides of the rock. So we've got euphorbia in here. This is the rainbow ascot. Isn't that gorgeous? Those are the ones that we grew from the little plugs that I got in January. We have some autumn moorgrass in here, and look, they're starting to get their little tufts on them. Aren't those the cutest little grasses? I love those. Look at our blue globe spruce next to that midnight wine shine woodula. Ah, that is such a beautiful contrast. And then as we come down the bed, you can see I did pop in some annuals. I used the saffron finch and the Bordeaux, and then I just ended up using alyssum. I used the white knight and the snow princess, pretty much repeated it all the way down. I didn't get a lot of variety, just kind of repeated the same thing over and over. So as we come down, one of the things that we wanted to do was we wanted to give the illusion of not having a straight line. Now, it still kind of looks like a straight line today, but as things grow up and get bigger and spill over onto the rocks, the illusion of that straight line will go away because we have brought plants on either side of the rock. So again, we've repeated a lot of the same things throughout the bed. I am going to throw another silver sage down here, and then you can see the deutzias, the Yuki cherry blossoms are in here, some more euphorbia, and then we took those blue star junipers. We're going to try and save those. We planted those into the ground, and now that they're getting more sun, I bet you they do make it. So I'm pretty happy that those are in the ground. We also added some other mangaves in here in different places, and remember, I still have to mulch this, so that will actually anytime you mulch, oh my God, it makes it look so good. All right, keep going down. We've got our GMs right here, another deutzia. And then if we come, sorry about the hose, but I'm watering my weeds. All right, we come over here, we soften the edge with some more of the autumn moorgrass, another one of the blue chip junipers. And you can see we kind of repeated the same thing over and over again in the bed so that we've got repetition to draw your eye down the bed, but we've also got things on both sides of the rocks so that it softens the bed. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is, oh, look, there's the crabtree. I did not plant that where I said I was going to. I decided that I just wanted that area to be sunny for the zinnias, and I've decided to plant it out here, and we're gonna trim it up as it's growing so that it kind of creates an arc right here that you're gonna walk underneath as you leave this garden going into another garden. Now, we still have to do our plantings down here. We still have to dig up the hostas and split the one on the right, which is the strip teas, and clean up the tattered leaves, obviously. And then I got to get the lungwort planted over here. This is our Golden Falls red bud. Isn't that great? We still have our Joe Pyeweed in here, and then the foxglove, and then our Jacob's ladder down this way. So pretty happy with how this turned out. I can't wait for it to grow up a little bit. And just putting mulch and rock down is going to change the look. It'll be night and day. You'll see. All right. So there we go. Loving it so far. I think I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I know some of you are like, oh my God, I can't believe she's hauling all those wheelbarrows, her poor back. My back does not hurt right now. One of the things that I want to give you is a tip whenever you're carrying weight in a wheelbarrow. One, don't carry more than you can handle. I'm not filling this wheelbarrow up. I'm only going about half full because I can't lift more than that. Well, I can probably lift it, but I can't lift it to dump it. And I think I would get very weary very fast, and I think my back would hurt. The other thing is put all the weight in the front of the wheelbarrow. You'll notice that all of my weight every time I've come over is bent towards the front of the wheelbarrow. I don't make it level. I put all that weight up here at the end because that's how the wheelbarrow is designed to work. Plus, when I go to tip it, it's easier to tip because the weight's already there. So for me, this is what I do so that I can handle doing rock in a wheelbarrow or doing, 10 yards of mulch and getting it all done in one sitting without throwing my back out. So the other thing is when you lift with your knees to dump. I know we've all heard that before, but do you do it? Because if you don't, try it. It actually works. All right, let's finish this up. I am really loving the way that this is looking. I'm gonna live with it for a little bit to see if I want to put the flagstone down, but I'm loving it. Now I still have to wash off the stone and I still have some planting to do on that side of the red bud. But I do have one thing that I want to get planted up today, and I got this at the garden show at one of the antique booths. So for the most part, I was stuck in my booth the whole time I was there, but I was able to sneak away to look at this booth that was like kitty corner from me and behind me, and I picked up this really cool stand. So this is the stand right here, and then it came with this planter, and I don't know if this is the planter that goes in the stand, but it works, and we're going to add it to the garden bed. And we are going to plant this thing up to give me some height. So I'm going to plant something that's going to kind of drape over the top and trail, and we're going to put it right down there on the other side of the wall so that we've got some really cool color and something with a little bit of height. So let's get this planted up. I am liking right here for my planter. Now I am going to be digging up one of the hostas in here because I think two is too many, and I'm gonna leave the strip tees. That way it can fluff out to its full glorious size and not be crowded in by this one. I'm gonna save all the hostas that I've been digging up because we are gonna be adding them to the hosta bed. I have some holes over there that I feel like I wanna fill up, and so we're gonna use hostas that we already have versus buying new hostas, although I might be tempted to buy some new ones. We'll have to see. But before we plant it, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna stake it down. So I went and I got some of these long, they're tent stakes, and I got them at a box store. We use them to hold some of the blow-ups down in the Christmas walk, and I'm like, okay, well, those will work because they go in the ground pretty far. So I'm gonna anchor it in the ground first because I certainly don't want this thing falling over. We've had a really windy spring, and I'm sure it wouldn't take much for it to be on the ground. So we'll do that first, and then we're gonna plant it. I am so excited that this is done. Isn't this awesome? I love it. I can't wait for some of it to grow up, but I'm going to enjoy the process of it growing up. I love all the different things that we put in here, and I think that it's a good mix of different colors and different textures and different plants to keep it really interesting. I love that we spilled it out on all sides of the rock to really give it some character, to soften those lines, and they'll get softened even more as everything begins to grow. I like the upper area as well. I think it turned out really well. I did get the lungwort planted. I kind of planted them in between the boxwoods, and I dug out the hosta and I put a lungwort in its place. And then we had some castor beans that we started from seed, so I popped those in there as well. I'll probably add maybe a few more things right in here. I just don't know what that's going to be, so I'm just going to hold off on that and just wait. But I do love the Baby Joe pie wheat, the foxglove. Oh, I just love everything so far. I'm just loving this. I don't know if I'm going to do flagstone. It wasn't that hard to walk in, and I don't know. I'm going to live with it for a little bit and decide. I probably should do it though, because, you know, we have flagstone going that way and we have flagstone going up to the front bed. So I probably should continue that so that it's a consistent medium going all the way through. All right, here we go. Now that we have watered the cottage bed, we are going to tackle this, and our goal is 60 minutes. We're going to see how far we get in 60 minutes, and that's where I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave you for today, you guys. That's all I've got. I'm so happy that this project is done. Thanks for coming along with me on my little journey over here. And it definitely has been a journey. I'm going to start weeding the cottage garden, and we'll be working in there next. So stay tuned. I'm Michelle. I hope you get your hands in the dirt today. We'll catch you later. Bye, everyone.